Hi, everybody. Elida Zweidler-McKay with ZM Coach, where we're all about helping you prepare for and land that next promotion and doing that without stress and overwhelm. So, today I want to talk to you about managing your physical health, which is one of the most important things you can do for your resilience and, frankly, for your long term effectiveness. When you have taken good care of your body, you've been eating right, you're working out, you're getting enough sleep, you're drinking enough water, your body is better able to support you as you respond to the day-to-day stresses and challenges that you face at work. So one of the things that I work with my clients on is getting into good, healthy routines, because, like I said, those are the things that can really support you when you're stressed, when stressful things happen. If you've had enough rest, you're eating right, your body is tuned, it's easier to take a deep breath, settle into yourself, and really carry yourself with that internal executive presence that's so important to being able to have the kind of influence that you want to have and to have the kind of impact that you want to have in your career. Now, I know a lot of people struggle with this. I mean, here we are a few months into the year, and I just read recently that only like 8% of people will still be on track with their New Year's resolutions. So I know how challenging it can be, and I've struggled with that myself. I think one of the things that gets in the way of people taking care of their physical health is this feeling that you have to be all in on your job, that, I'm seeing so many people who are overwhelmed by kind of an endless barrage of work. This feeling that work can happen anytime, anywhere, which on the one hand is great. It gives us a little bit of flexibility. But on the other hand, of course, leads to a complete sense of overwhelm because if you could do it anywhere, then it starts to feel like you should. So I wanted to talk with you today about three strategies that you can use to really make time for the kinds of healthy routines that are important to you and that will help you manage not only your short-term resilience, but also your long-term longevity and mobility and all those pieces. The three things I think are most important are having a really clear sense of priorities, um, managing your boundaries and being able to say no, and then really being able to understand the choices that are in front of you. And that's all related. So let's talk first about priorities. I think one of the challenges that organizations are facing right now is that in this world of um, constantly feeling like we need to adapt, leaders are shirking their responsibility for setting priorities, for really getting clear about what are we trying to do here, what's important to us, and where are we going to use our precious resources. And then that trickles down. If management's not doing it, leaders aren't doing it, it's harder for individuals to do it. But that doesn't mean you can't. So, one of the things that I work with my clients on is really getting clear about their own priorities for themselves in their personal lives and in their health and in their jobs, but then also the priorities for their role. So, what are the key elements that are going to make you successful in your given role? What are the real deliverables and outcomes, and how do those contribute to the broader outcomes that your organization is looking for? When you're clear about those things, it becomes much easier to prioritize and to make choices about what you'll do, what you'll put off until later, and what you won't do. Strategy, it said strategy is deciding what you won't do. And I really agree with that. And so part of what we work on is setting those priorities and then getting really clear about which are the activities that are going to move those forward. What are the levers that you can use in your own career to really make the kind of impact that you want to have that's going to translate into the company goals and the company outcomes, which ultimately then you can talk about in a way that helps people understand how you're contributing to the company. The second thing that we do is we really work on ways of saying no. This is something that people feel like they can't do or they shouldn't do or they're going to get in trouble if they do. And there are some managers you might work with where that's the case. But usually there is a way to say no that is compelling, that gives enough rationale or enough planning behind it that people can actually see you as strategic when you say no, rather than seeing it as a burden. And it all has to do with how you position it, how you talk about it, the rationale you give for it, how you show the thinking behind it. So that's another piece that we work on is how to say no, how to be strategic about that, who to say no to, how to work with people so that they can understand what you're saying no to and why, so that it really feels like it's not only in your interest, but also in the interest of the company for you to be making the kinds of strategic choices that you'll be making. And then the third part is really putting those together into thinking clearly about choices. So, having a clear sense of what is going to move your career forward and what are the choices that you need to make that will help you um, make the most of the time that you put in so that you're really doing quality work rather than quantity work. Now, I know this can feel really countercultural in a lot of organizations right now. We've gotten to the place where speeding up has become almost like a flywheel where people get faster and then they get faster and then they get faster and faster and faster and it's to the point where folks just can't keep up and it feels like everything has to get done right now. But the reality is that's just not true. It's never true. One of my very first clients I ever worked with, I was in that mindset of, I've got to go fast. Everything has to happen tomorrow. And he was a little bit older than me and had a bit more experience. And so when we finished with our team building session that I was leading for him and his team, and I said, I'll get you the write up tomorrow, eager that I was, he was a physician and this was a medical team. And he actually said, we're not on ER time here. Nobody's going to die if I don't get that report until Monday. Why don't you just take the time you need to really do it and get it to me next week? And that idea really struck with me that, there are some jobs in this world where lives are on the line. There are some circumstances where people will die if you don't show up the way you need to show up or when you need to show up and do the work you need to do. But those are honestly pretty limited. And the kind of hurry and rush and speed that's been generated in most of corporate life isn't actually life or death. So, sure, there are deadlines, there are deals to be met, there are um, profits to be made, and those are important. I'm not saying they're not, but they shouldn't come at the cost of your health and your long-term well-being. And there are ways that you can navigate and negotiate that so that they don't. And that's one of the things that I help people with so that even as you're moving up in your career and you're going for that next promotion and you're working at that next level, you can do that in a way that is long-term sustainable for you. And that's the other thing I've seen. Some people hesitate to ask for a promotion or to think about taking a promotion because they worry that at that next level, they're going to have to give up more of their life. They're not going to be able to sustain the lifestyle that they want or be around for their family or be around for their kids. And partly that's because that's the role modeling that they're seeing from others. But I would say that actually, the company needs you to be strategic about how you use yourself as a resource and how you use your team as a resource. And if you're a manager who's working all the time and setting that as an example for your team, you're actually doing the company a disservice because that is not long-term sustainable and it's not strategic. So if you've been keeping yourself back or not considering a kind of going for a promotion because you're worried it's going to be too much work or it's going to be too many hours, I would say let's talk about ways that you can move past that. It will be bigger challenges. Every step you move up the ladder in an organization brings bigger challenges with bigger impacts. But that doesn't have to take more of your time and keep you from having a healthy balance in your life where you can really take good care of yourself and your body and your mental health and your colleagues. And anyone who tells you otherwise just hasn't figured it out yet for themselves. So if you are interested in figuring out how to do that for yourself, let's be in touch. You can either watch my webinar to get more ideas about the kinds of shifts that you can make to get ahead in your career without burning yourself out, or you can book a call with me if you're ready to talk about what it would look like for us to work together to get you there. I'll leave the links for both of those available below the video, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.